In the center of the galaxy, where stars burned blue and golden worlds spun in silence, the great Galactic Council gathered once more. Their chamber floated in space, shaped like a ring of fire and crystal where all the strongest species of the galaxy came together. There were beings with wings of glass, voices like wind, eyes that could see heat, and minds that could touch others without speaking. They were the rulers, the lawmakers, the judges of the galaxy. But this day was different. This day someone strange had been invited. A young human named Ji-hwan stood at the edge of the council floor. He wore a simple dark uniform with the Earth emblem on his chest. His black hair was tied back, his face calm, but behind his eyes was a storm. He knew the council thought of humans as weak, strange, and soft. But he also knew something they didn't understand yet. The Galactic Council had called this special meeting because of one growing fear. Earth. Humanity was expanding quickly into space, building small colonies on moons, learning alien tech faster than expected. Yet their ships were small, their bodies weak, and their technology primitive compared to others. It didn't make sense why were humans spreading so fast. How were they surviving when their children were so helpless? Counselors, said the elder of the Varkan species, a tall reptilian creature with glowing scales. We must discuss the threat of Earth. Their biology is a mistake. They do not lay eggs. Their offspring are born, unfinished. The council chamber buzzed with strange laughter. Some species clicked their teeth, others fluttered their wings in amusement. Even the cold-blooded Krithari warriors smirked. Then Ji-hwan stepped forward. He bowed low and looked up with a calm voice. That is true. We do not hatch from eggs. Our babies are born alive, and helpless. The room fell silent, eyes turned. To him, bright and black, smooth and scaled. All stared at the human. You admit your weakness? Asked an insectoid delegate named Quetas. Then why does your species not die out? Ji-hwan smiled, but his voice was serious. Because our strength is not in muscle or shell. It is in something else. It is in how we love, how we learn, how we never give up, even when we are weak. The elder of the Varkan narrowed his yellow eyes, then prove it. We will test this. You speak of strength and helplessness? Let us see. A challenge was made. In ancient rite, it had not been used in centuries. 2 children would be placed into a simulated alien world. One child from a noble warrior species, the ScI-Fi, born in eggs with claws and natural armor. The other child, small human. Girl named Da-Eun. Was only 6 years old. She had large brown eyes, thin arms, and a small backpack filled with basic tools. She could barely hold a stick properly. The ScI-Fi hatchling named Krex was born with sharp senses and strong limbs. His species learned to hunt within days of hatching. The council did not expect much. They watched for entertainment, but they would be surprised. The world they entered was harsh. An artificial forest full of wild animals, cold nights, poisonous plants, and sudden storms. A drone followed each child, sending back images to the council. At first, Krex rushed through the woods, strong and fearless. He climbed trees, hunted small creatures, and slept under rocks. He laughed in his strange alien voice, proud of his skills. Da-Eun, however, cried the first night. She was cold, hungry, and alone. She missed her mother. She had no claws, no armor, just a blanket in her small bag. The council almost stopped the test, thinking it was cruel, but Ji-hwan raised a hand. Wait. The second day, Da-Eun began to change. She stopped crying and looked around carefully. She gathered dry leaves, stacked stones, and used her emergency fire starter to build a small camp. She did not move much, but made her place safer. On the third day, a wild beast attacked. Krex fought it with strength, but was wounded. He limped away, snarling. Da-Eun hid from the same beast. She watched it carefully. Then, surprisingly, she tossed it food scraps, again and again. By the 5th day, the beast came near her without anger. She had made a friend. The council began whispering among themselves. She cannot fight, one said. But she avoids danger, another replied. She studies it. She's learning, said a third. By the 7th day, Krex was tired. His injuries slowed him down. He could no longer hunt properly. He grew angry, destroying plants in frustration. Dayun, meanwhile, used sticks and vines. To build a trap for fish, she drew pictures in the dirt to remember what plants were safe. She named the beast that stayed near her, Bach. She began talking to herself and to Bach, singing songs, making stories. Her mind was still active, curious, bright. When Krex stumbled upon her camp on the 10th day, he was shocked. The girl had shelter, food, safety, and a pet beast. It had nothing left but bruises and pride. The council watched in silence. Then Ji-hwan stood again. Now, counselors, tell me what is strength? Teeth and claws, or mind and heart? 8. The elder Varkin said nothing. A small being from the 3D species spoke, its voice soft like chimes. She is still weak, but she is alive, said Kutez, and thriving. Kuta's voice became strong. Our babies do not hatch from eggs. They are born needing help. And so, we help. We care. We love. That is our true strength. It makes us build families, teams, cities, whole nations. One delegate with many blinking eyes asked, but your growth is slow. Why do you still survive? Ji-hwan walked slowly to the center of the chamber. Because we teach. Because we hold each other when we fall. Because we believe that pain can become power. That weakness is not forever. Silence fell again. But this time it was not mockery. It was respect. Even Krex, when healed and returned, sat beside Dayun and looked down in quiet thought. He had learned something too. On the 11th day, the test was ended. Both children were brought back. The council met in private. Ji-hwan waited outside, staring out into the stars. He did not know if they would accept Earth, but he knew Dayun had changed something in them. They would not forget her. That night, Dayun asked him quietly, "Did I do okay?" Ji-hwan smiled. "You did better than okay. You showed the stars who we really are." The stars above remained cold and quiet. But something deep in the galaxy had shifted, and for the first time, the Galactic Council saw humans not as soft creatures of flesh, but as beings of flames, small but unstoppable. The council hall was quiet. Too quiet. After the survival test ended, the great council made of leaders from across the galaxy sat behind closed doors. Their bright symbols dimmed. Their wings, arms, and eyes were still. For the first time. In many cycles, they didn't know what to say. On one side of the giant hall, Ji-hwan waited. On the other side, his niece Dayun sat with a warm blanket and a quiet smile. Her small fingers held a little drawing she had made one of herself. And the alien beast she called Bach, she had given it to the council. Some had stared at it for hours. They were trying to understand what they had just seen. For thousands of years, the council believed in power. Species with claws, speed, armor, or cold logic had ruled. All members had something strong from birth. They hatched fast, walked early, hunted before they could speak. But humans were born soft, weak, and slow. And yet this small girl had survived 10 days in a deadly simulation. Not with force, not with fear, but with kindness, clever ideas, and love. The truth was simple, but hard to accept. A sharp sound echoed through the hall. The doors opened. The council had reached a decision. Ji-hwan stood tall as Elder Varkin. The strongest voice among them stepped forward. The huge reptilian leader's eyes had lost their earlier pride. His steps were heavy now, slower, thoughtful. "We have seen the trial," Varkin said. "We saw what the hatchling Krex could do, and what the human child Dayun chose to do." Paused, looking around at the other counselors. "We have ruled for ages through instinct, efficiency, and power. But today, something new was placed before us. Something we had forgotten to measure. Heart." Ji-hwan stepped forward. "So what? Is your decision?" And the sea-fern-shaped counselor from the gentle Varnix, rose and spoke softly. We vote to welcome Earth as an equal member of the Galactic Council. A light flared above her seat green. One by one, others followed. Even Cotes, the insectoid, lifted his antenna and said, "The girl made friends with a beast meant to kill her. That is not weakness. That is a gift." Another green light, then another and another. Only Varkin remained. All eyes turned to him. He walked over to Ji-hwan, who looked up at him without fear. "You were not born for battle," he said in a low, deep voice. "But you survived without it, and you made something better than war. That is something I never expected." He raised his clawand, lit the final green light. The hall shimmered with light. Earth's flag appeared among the stars. For the first time, humanity was part of something bigger. Ji-hwan bowed. "Thank you. This changes everything." Varkan wasn't done. "Tell us," he said, turning to Ji-hwan. "How does your species grow from weakness into strength?" Ji-hwan looked at the council not as enemies, but as curious minds. His voice was calm but full of deep meaning. "When our babies are born, they cannot feed themselves. They cannot walk. They cry, they fall, they need help every moment. What do? We protect them. We carry them. We teach them slowly, day by day." He walked to the center. From the first breath, a human child learns one thing: someone is there. Not to command them, not to train them like soldiers, but to love them. That love turns into trust. That trust turns into courage. And that courage, becomes strength. Ji-hwan smiled quietly. She didn't understand all the words, but she knew. Her uncle was telling the truth. Ji-hwan went on. "We are born knowing nothing. That makes us curious. It makes us ask why and what if. Our weakness is our chance to grow. Our pain teaches us compassion. Our tears lead us to connection." Council listened. Even the cold-minded Krell warriors tilted their heads. "Ji-hwan didn't fight the simulation," Ji-hwan said. "She made peace with it. She didn't try to win. She tried to live. That's what humans do. We don't always win by force. But we always try again." One of the youngest council members, from a small light-form species, blinked softly. "But your worlds are small. Your time is short. How do you do so much with so little?" Ji-hwan smiled. "Because we know life is short. We know we don't last forever. That's why every moment matters. That's why we risk more, love harder, dream bigger. That's why even a small child can carry hope across the stars." The chamber was silent again, but this time it was not confusion or pride, it was respect. After the meeting, the council sent out a new message across the galaxy. It was short. It said, "Earth is now a voice in the stars." And the stars have listened. Across hundreds of planets, alien minds paused. Some laughed, some doubted. But others watched the trial footage, saw the human girl singing to a wild beast, and began to wonder. Maybe the future wouldn't belong to the strongest. Maybe it would belong to the ones who could care on their ship. Ji-hwan held Ji-hwan close as they watched the stars outside. "You were very brave," he told her. "I was scared," she whispered. He nodded. "Being brave doesn't mean not being scared. It means doing your best even when you are." She smiled. "Will I go back to space again?" Ji-hwan laughed. "Someday. But first, let's go home." Below them, Earth spun quietly in the dark blue, green, full of soft people with strong hearts, and above them the stars no longer looked cold. Because now, even the oldest aliens in the galaxy had to admit one strange and simple truth. Humans don't hatch from eggs. But somehow, they still rise.